Oh, tell me about the altruistic gallery owner that like just wants to show your process. Get the out of here.
With Michael now, it does feel like each song is a work of art, and he's sort of crafted it to be unique. He's not chasing himself.
Michael now. We're talking about Steve. We're talking about Michael now.
Well, he's my favorite contemporary musician by far. You know what he's done? He's helped me restore my faith in modern musicians.
What's weird also because with you it happened like in an instant. Like I'm not ready for how much you like Michael now.
I am.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, there was a moment, and I think it happened around the time that I got the concert tickets where you were like, oh, maybe I should listen to a couple tracks. Like that's the first Michael Now experience I think that you had.
No, I actually know the first Michael Now experience. So like you're like the workshop master, you know, everybody goes to your workshops and like Steve's got the juice.
No, that's correct.
You know,
it's true. It's all true.
So like in Rome, you know, like you have your workshop vibe, and you had like a great playlist, and like there was a little bit of silence in mine. And then actually, so like I got my playlist on that one. I kind of recovered.
Yeah.
But I was teaching a workshop in San Francisco, and I emailed you, and I was like, buddy, I need some new music. Yeah, like, well, you're right. So I got 3 kids, and like somewhere along the 3-kid train, you stop caring about music. You're like a little bit more into a lot of other things. And you stop paying as much of attention. I feel like in your 20s and 30s, like music matters so deeply. And then, you know, I don't know, like life happens, you start thinking about other things, and suddenly you're just not as invested. But it's not like it goes away, just like distracted by the cares of normal life. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, like I made this playlist, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like this is really, this takes me to like my, like, I also feel like the phone has taken away my joy of music, mm-hmm. and I'm in the middle of sort of recovering that joy. Because like when you listen on your phone, you know, it's interrupted by the next little notification and everything. And so I just rediscovered passion for music, and putting together this playlist for that workshop really helped me out. And everybody really enjoyed it in the workshop. They're like, what is this music?
No, I was listening to Now for like years before I actually recognized that I liked it. Like there was one song, which was amazing because it's the first song that he played at the concert we went to. He played I Root. It was the first song that I had listened to from him. And I thought, you know, it was one of those things, I think it was like early on in like my sort of Spotify discovery era, where it's like, yeah, there's bands that I discovered through Spotify, and I immediately think, you know, they got to be trash because the algorithm is like recommending them. So like, how good could they be because I didn't like work for it, you know? No, but you know what I mean? Like I didn't say that out loud, but like in my head, I'm thinking, oh, you know, Spotify is just like dragging this, you know, easy listening stuff like through my feed just because I happened to like listen to a folk song once, and that's like where I left it, you know. And I kind of, you know, I did that thing too, where, and this is like such a Spotify reality, where you like hear a song, you go like, this song is legit, really great. Like I'm into this song. And then you don't look at the album for potentially years. Like yeah. You know what I mean? Like I had the song on playlists. I would put it on when, you know, when we were sort of grilling outside in Norway. I would put on the, you know, this track or whatever. It would go through in a playlist, and that was all Michael Now was to me, as like so many musicians were to me, until I guess probably really until this concert. I think seeing him in person, like, you know, shook something loose, man. And I was really into it.
Oh, really? So you weren't even all the way in until the concert?
Well, okay, wait a minute. No, because this is revisionist history. So Love Survives. Love Survive was what really probably did it. Which is like weird because Love Survive is like kind of unique in his canon. Like, there's not another song with that energy. in any of his work. Like it's this very like declarative, very, like, I don't know what is the word I'm looking for. Like, it's, I want to say like performative, but I mean it in a good way. Like everybody says performative in only a bad way now, because it's like, oh, you're showing something that you feel. How could you? But it's like, it's kind of, going into like the roots of like what he believes. And I don't know. I think it's unique in what he does, and it completely moved me. And like that's when I was like all in on Michael Now. Ironically, I still didn't like go all in on his albums at that point. I knew I loved that song so much, and I loved a few other tracks so much, but I still didn't go all in.
Well, this is partly what, like that song as well. Like that song really kind of helped me believe in like the whole project of what he is. Like not to go too deep on it here, but like Love Survive, like just the message. I mean, it's so easy with musicians. So often I'll get like a vibe of music that I really love, and then I listen to the lyrics. I'm like, oh boy, there we go, rock and roll philosophy. That's how I'm gonna live my life by.
Yeah, let the good times roll.
Yeah,
Is that it?
Like they're gonna say something stupid, right? Like, and it's okay, But I felt like I always loved the vibe of the music, and then I listened to the lyrics, and I felt like, wow, here's like a real songwriter with really something to say and something I believe in. That only my love survives. Like I'm getting to that age where you start to think about that in midlife, like, what am I doing? What is my work? What is my life? And there is that sort of cliche vibe of, oh, whatever you do, that's good. That's what only remains. But there was something about the authenticity of the music that kind of made that kind of feel different and ring true in a new and fresh way for me. And I just loved it. I loved every second of it. And then the moment I kept digging in, it just felt like it. That was the other thing that I really love about Michael Now, is that I kept digging in and there was more. It wasn't like a one-hit wonder. There's so many times in music that I love, like, oh, here's this one song, I love this. But then it's like, oh boy, that was.
You have that fear. Like you hear Love Survive and you think, oh God, no. It's almost like a reactive thing that I do, where it's like, it can't be as good as this. And I worry immediately. Oh no, I don't want to hear like the. You know what? I almost probably don't go to the album because I know the rest of the tracks are going to be, just whatever stuff he shuffled off and like didn't really think about. He's somebody that really, I feel like, really pays off. Listen, I'm going to be honest. It's not every single track that I hear that I go, oh, Michael Now, I can't possibly get enough of it. But I mean, what a remarkable record to say that he even hits as often as he does. Like I know how hard it is to make like one decent painting or drawing or whatever. And this guy's like kind of racking up the wins.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would even disagree with you. Like I've been listening more to albums lately, and I could say I'm irritated with my phone and the way it's kind of destroyed my love of music, but it's also life getting in the way and things like that. But I could also say buying lots of albums that kind of have that one song on there that's okay has also like made me kind of out on albums for a while. And I started up a vinyl collection and started listening to this music, and my son keeps asking me, what are the best albums ever? What are the best albums ever? And what makes a good album is that you don't have to skip a song. You know what I mean? And there's albums where it might not be your favorite song, but like it's a great album, like it's a complete project, it's a body of work. It's like seeing an artist where, if you saw a whole artist's body of work in context, it's a beautiful thing. And you might not love every painting, but you see their life together with it. And that's what a show is supposed to be about, right? That's what a gallery show is supposed to be about, but it's, it does feel like that's... So what do you mean?
It's not supposed to be about that at all. Gallery shows are just raw commerce in action. It's just, I don't have any faith in like, no, it's funny though, but you mentioned like that you would take the album as like the artist's, body of work, and you want to see the thought process and the offcuts, presumably, like, because that's what happens when you see the process. You see things that, maybe weren't the best part of it, which is not really permitted in gallery shows. Gallery shows, everything has to be a banger as well. Otherwise, like, it doesn't sell and it brings down the sort of merit of the enterprise. Which is another.
Well, maybe that's the bitter version of it, but like you really want like
the
a
bitter. But
what do you mean?
It's not a bitter version. It's the version. Like, give me the other version. Tell me about the altruistic gallery owner that like just wants to show your process. Get the out of here. Show your process.
All right. Museum show, is that better?
Museum show is at least more realistic. Gallery show, wow.
Well, that's what I mean. Is museum like. What I mean is the way to properly view a body of work. It's like a beautiful experience. That's what I'm hoping for with a gallery show, or a museum show, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I think it's funny in a way though, because with music, like, do you not feel that there's like less forgiveness of that in music? I think that the way that like people care about music dictates that they're less forgiving of like, well, all right, hold on. In the mean, right? If you're a huge Queen fan, whatever, like, you're gonna love anything, Freddie Mercury dropped his microphone in the toilet. The outtakes are amazing. But I'm just saying that, like, in general, when you listen to an album by somebody that you're kind of evaluating and like trying to feel something about, I feel like you're kind of less forgiving of music. Like, if I see some artist's like rough sketch of something, I think, oh, what a cool rough sketch of that thing this is. And I'm not bothered that it's rough or that it's not the best. Also because maybe I don't care that much, like it's kind of fine. Like, it's okay. Like, I get that, the artistic process visually can be interesting without being a part of like the final product. But like, generally speaking, if I like found a Michael Now album and it was like all like offcuts of him, like sort of stumbling over his words and like messing up chords and stuff, and like that was on the album, I'd be like, get out of here. I'm not interested. Like, I want my music to be like, I would love it to be the complete thought that you're talking about.
Well, I think that's what he does with his music, really. Like, on his Bandcamp page, he's got like a whole album of like songs that aren't songs yet. Yeah, which I think is interesting. He kind of
sketches then.
Yeah, sketches, and he kind of laughs at it. He says, I send these to my friends, and sometimes they listen to them while they're drilling holes in the wall or something like that. That like he doesn't take it too seriously. He's such a man of the people. His friends are drilling holes.
He's so blue collar, he's just an average guy.
Well, he did feel like that in the concert. Yeah. It was so funny. It seemed like he didn't really want to talk about the music. He just wanted to feel it and get out of there.
Just feel it, just vibe it and go.
He just kind of wants to get up there, vibe out, and, get out of there without too much trouble.
Yeah.
It was enough. Like, he brought the juice, man. He did like a redo of one of the songs that, I don't know what it was. It was, do you remember like the redo he did that sounded way different live than on the record?
Right. So either the first song that he played was Good Thing. Got a good thing going, got a good thing going wrong.
Yeah, he definitely played that.
Was that the first song he played?
I don't know.
Damn it, Steve. It was either that or I Root, because I think that later in the show, he did a version of I Root that was like completely rocked out and amazing. So I think that earlier I said that he opened up with I Root. I think he actually opened up with Good Thing. And then went into I Root later, where he really rocked it out and like kind of made it. It was like a really special moment where, like he was just like, we're the only people that like ever heard that version of that song. I just think that's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, I wanted to hear Love Survive, but There were songs that then I listened to later, and I was like, oh, it kind of brought back good memories of the show.
Yeah.
Painting a wall with a hacksaw.
I'm doing like the most naive block-in, like I think I've ever done it. I'm loving every second of it.
Good.
Like, do you ever get that thing where you're painting where it's like, you're so old by now. And you've been doing this for so long that you're like, I'm going to do the bare minimum of what's necessary at this moment.
I don't know if I think about it like that.
I think about it like that.
I kind of think about it like, what can I do that's different this time? Like, I want to surprise myself.
Yeah.
I wanna do
Food doesn't
something like
taste
that.
good anymore. You know, the thrill is gone.
The thrill is gone, baby.
You're entering your golden years, Steve. The thrill is
Well, I think
gone.
that's what digital painting did for me. It's just like a big surprise all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to always know what's going to happen. Like, hey, don't you think it's interesting when you're using a tool or you're having an approach where there's some sort of controlled chaos or like a controlled randomness? Like,
Yeah,
you don't want to know
completely.
that you don't want to have the reins all the time.
No,
You
I was
know, you
just
kind of want to
I
like
was
be
just
there,
talking,
not really there.
I was just talking about this the other day and saying that like what I do now when I go to like life drawing and stuff is I choose the spot that I would never choose because inside that spot is some kind of visual solution that I would never come across because I just wouldn't be there. I wouldn't put myself there. You know, so it's a way to like engineer, you know, randomness also in my thinking that like I'm going to pattern my thought about this different. Because like I'm not solving the same old visual problem.
Well, yeah, and that kind of makes it exciting.
Yeah.
And,
Keeps it
you
fresh.
know, just kind of, yeah, exactly. Because you can just, it's so easy if you've been doing it so long to, you know, like just not be inspired or just, oh, here's another one. You know, like how do you plan for randomness and inspiration and change and things like that?
You just let them happen, Steve. Just gotta vibe out, buddy. You gotta draw a hat, Steve. You wouldn't draw a hat normally. Draw that hat.
I don't like the hat. I don't like the hat.
I kind of love
like
the
the
hat.
hat.
You know what it is? It's like this perverse thing where it's like I know it's bad, but like I want to make it good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I think I can fix him. You know? I can.
Look. Is that
Like I can fix this hat. It's so bad, but I know what it needs.
what does it need?
With some TLC.
By the way, everybody in the band had a beard and a hat. There was only like one rebellious character there.
Well, there was a look. There was a look.
There was a
about
look. It was almost mandated, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, what about that? Is he too cool?
No. Michael Now's awesome.
You're getting
He had
caught
like
up because you think he's listening. You know, so you're only being nice.
No. He had like a dude vibe, you know, like
Yeah.
from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
He definitely had like that kind of a look with like this wild hair kind of poking out from the beanie. Yeah, it is interesting to watch musicians get into their thing. Like you know what? Sometimes I play music and it feels very scary. Like you have these sensitive creatures that are just kind of like alone and, you know, in their house writing these songs, putting them out there into the world, and then we expect them to get up in front of us and do a little song and dance.
Well,
right?
wait a minute now. I think that up to a certain point, being a performer, like, I mean, I know that like there's different levels of like sociability and people will want like different versions of things, but you know, I get the feeling that everybody that gets up in front of a crowd goes through the same, like a similar kind of like anxiety experience. Like even people that love doing it get nervous before every show.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't imagine that you'd like tolerate an existence where your like primary interface, like with your fans and with your audience, was something that you just like, I want out of this all the time. I mean, imagine overcoming that to like actually have a career.
Well, I think this is the story with Mazzy Star. like she apparently was terrified to get up and sing. Like this was like not what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like I think that like, you know, like how some people maybe get up and do like an open mic or like a karaoke. They just want to like vibe and sing a song, and then, you know, suddenly you could actually become like this reluctant musician. Like I think that they're sensitive creatures that feel a lot of things. And then sometimes to perform in front of somebody else is like, that's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm just trying to be sensitive because like I kind of wanted him to talk a bit more. But like if it was me, I mean, I don't know if I want to like share my entire life with this random crowd of strangers.
Well, I'm
It's a lot to ask
pro-sharing.
of
I
people.
feel like I'm pro-sharing. I feel like it's a sacrifice that you make to tell your story. I think it's only a good thing, and yeah.
What if you're in a bad mood?
I mean, I've been there, you know. Every time I've ever done a panel discussion, every time, like the 30 minutes before going on, I'm
Oh my goodness.
asking myself, why on earth do I say yes to these things? And I'm like, Steve, you're an idiot. Just don't do it. You don't want to do it. Why not just not do them, you know?
Well, and of course you're going to get to the bottom of the things at these discussions. We're all going to figure it out, right?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, no, it's always like that. Hey, we're going to solve the crisis of 20th century or 21st century.
Oh,
art.
the panel discussion. Oh, yeah, well, come
Yeah,
on. Come on.
exactly.
Come on with a panel discussion. All right? You know, this is,
Well-
you know, it's done all the time. Imagine Michael now at a panel discussion. What is he doing at a panel discussion?
Michael, tell me about the state of modern music and where we're going.
Oh, there you go.
Where are we
They
going,
always want to
Michael?
know. It's like a predictor. Like they're trying to like invest
Where are we
in
going?
stocks.
You're like a meteorologist of art.
Well,
Oh, on
there's the high
Wednesday.
pressure front coming in from Indie New Wave.
You know, there's a shadow shape coming in on Friday. I don't know. It's something.
I don't know. Maybe I want to make it like a subtle, you know, like low value contrast drawing. What do I want to
So
do?
different.
How can I do this without working too hard? And it's harder from photographs, honestly.
You think so?
I guess, yeah, like, all right, so there's an energy that you get working from life. Mm-hmm. And it is, at least as far as I can see, it does not replicate into working from photographs just on its own. Like, I think that you can be energetic and work from photographs, so it's not to say that that cannot occur, but it occurs like quite naturally working from life, and I definitely like see myself kind of responding to that.
That's cool.
Yeah, like I had Davide posing yesterday, and for 5 hours, like the drawing's like almost finished. Because I was like on rocket fuel motivation working with him.
Well, I do remember when we were working from Andrea. There's some energy in there. I did like you know what, though, we did have waning energy there at the end because like we were teaching a workshop and in the middle of it, but like that first day it was like big time energy.
Yeah, and there's that sort of big energy that I feel like the beginning of a drawing for me, and I'm sure a painting for you, it needs like that big energy push. Like you got to feel like, okay, let's just get all the vibes onto this canvas. Boom! It's like knock it out. And then like the next day or whatever, you know, you can take a more measured approach. You can be a bit more chill. You know, you can think it out a little bit more.
Well, that's not exactly what I'm doing right here, but
What are you doing?
yeah, I don't know. Like I kind of do that kind of thing in a cycle, you know, like big vibe, little vibe, big vibe, little
Big
vibe.
vibe, little vibe. What's the little
know.
vibe?
The little vibe is like, I don't know, just I don't want the big vibe to hinder me from finishing the thing. So
What are you even talking about? What does that even mean? You don't want the big vibe, which is what everybody will respond to to get in the way of you finishing the thing.
Well, what I mean is, all right, okay, so this is the paint. Here's the thing. At you
Here's
drawing,
the thing
you know,
about painting.
when you're just making your just drawings,
Yeah.
you can big vibe it out and draw it all out. When I have wet paint, like there's kind of like a little bit more of a process to that, and I feel like when you go big vibe, big risk right away, it places a certain limitation of what you can do in a one session painting.
Okay, so you're more cautious.
And this, to me, what I'm trying to do here with this Michael now is do like a one session painting. So there's,
Whoa.
I'm kind of doing, well, I'm trying my best, but I'm sure I'll do a little touch up here and there.
Mr. Efficiency over here doing the one session painting.
Trying to be efficient. So I'm trying to really find the drawing well, and then we'll get a little wilder later.
You know what's funny? Like, you talk to like artists sometimes. Like, I'm kind of shocked by what I hear from people sometimes, you know?
Yeah, what do you hear?
Well, like, all right, I can't say, you know, I can't name names.
Take out the names. Don't name names.
There's no names.
Tell me.
But I'll tell you later. But I'm talking to artist X, and he's been kind of working in the industry for like, as long as I have, more or less, more or less.
Sure.
And he's talking to me about his painting, and he gives me this spiel, right? This story that sounds like when you go to give a critique to like a second year student, and they're like, yeah, it's just trying to get the big angles, and I'm never really sure about the accuracy. I'm like, my guy, like, you're still living there? Like, come on. You gotta be big vibing this thing.
Big.
Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear, like, I got a vision. I'm trying to make a vision here. And he's like going, I don't know what his angle break. I'm like, really?
You mean you don't want to talk about shadow shapes, Steve? You don't want to do
Well,
that?
this is what I'm saying. Is it's like, no, I don't. I don't even think it's, hey, it's eventually it's just going to get in the way, and you need to get it out of the way. That's what I think.
That's what you think today.
No, I think that if you're thinking about the notes, you're not playing them, you know?
If you're thinking about the notes, you're not playing them.
That's what I said. I'm sticking by it. I'm sticking to it. I'm standing by it.
Well, if only you could see me now, you know.
Are you big vibing it?
But we'll be big vibing it here. You know, you're always wanting to get to the big, you know, like it's just a game of 3-card Monty, you know, like which one comes first? I mean, big vibe, little vibe. Like to me, it's all
Which came
interchangeable.
first, the chicken or the big vibe?
Well, to me, it's all a little interchangeable.
Come on, that was a decent joke. I didn't even respond.
That was
to it.
okay. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Go on.
Anyways, yeah, but I don't know. It feels a little interchangeable. Like I don't necessarily need it to be like wild and crazy right now, but like it needs to get there. It needs to get to that vibe.
People aren't going to feel your energy if you don't give them your energy, Steve. And that's what they want to feel.
We'll get into it. I'm gonna get
No, I was just thinking that like, well, I was just thinking actually that in efforts to not work very hard, I kind of want to draw heads that are just like a smiley face, right? Where it's like just a circle and then the features.
Okay.
So like if I just,
All right, we're gonna have to revisit that. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm saying like,
I want to draw smiley faces. Like,
well,
where
all
we
right,
at?
what is a smiley face? It's just like a head. It's just a circle with like 2 eyes and a mouth. Well, it doesn't even have a nose. I like drawing noses, but my point is like, how can I just draw basically the features? I don't want to draw all the other stuff.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So like I've started this thing where like I'll just start just drawing the features, you know? I'll fill them with halftone, I'll do all the stuff that you do to the features, but I don't do any of the stuff around it.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, well, you say that, but I don't think you actually.
Okay, well, I mean, I fantasize
Alright.
about doing that. If I really look at the work that I'm doing, well, you know, when I work from life, it's like I want all the structure, I want all the smoke, you know?
You were just talking to me the other day. Is it possible to have too many halftones?
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did say that.
Well, you know, I have a lot of
That's why
different
I'm here
thoughts.
for you.
I have a lot of different thoughts. You know, like the artwork that goes along with jazz music, right? Mm-hmm. It's like always very minimalistic.
It's very expressionistic, I think.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, it's just a, you know, it's just a vibe. Really, it's just a big vibe. Like,
I
feel like
think musicians get this.
is that what our portraits of Michael now should be?
Well, no, I'm just gonna be me. You know,
just
like
gonna be
he's
you.
gonna be him. I'm gonna be me.
Okay.
You dream of just big vibes. You know, you just want big vibes everywhere.
I wouldn't mind it if it was that way.
Well, it is true. Like a lot of musicians on their albums, they always have like some like abstract painting. They're
Yeah.
totally comfortable with this. There's also great photography too, though.
Well, that's
No.
true. That's also true.
There's usually great photography too.
Does Michael now have a big nose? No, he's got an average-sized nose.
Oh, you know, it's a nose of substance.
It's deep. It's got a deep profile.
It's got you know what? He's kind of got your nose. Yeah, well-
Well, thankfully for him, nobody has my nose.
Oh, it's a beautiful nose.
Well, thank you. He's got a cool. I like his nose. Don't get me wrong. This is not a negative, you know, feedback situation.
What's the most You know what I like about Michael Now's face?
What's that?
He's kind of got Laocoon vibes. Huh?
Okay.
Laocoon
I mean,
vibes?
that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut, but sure,
Well,
I can
mean,
see it.
This is a painting podcast. It's got a little of that like, you know, big up eyebrow thing.
Yeah.
That like sort of deep sadness and wonder.
He does have. Well, you know, this is how the mythology works for musicians. You know. I think it's
What?
like in a lot of
What-
ways like the perfect art form. Because like they get to get up there and like be ambiguous, and then we're like, oh my God, it's so ambiguous. What does it all mean? And then you know we kind of build all this kind of meaning around it. And they're just big vibing it. Listen, I know they're craftsmen, but they're big vibing it. That's what I would be doing.
I think the reason I like Michael Now is that it's not just big. It's a big vibe,
Yeah.
but it's more than that.
You
like
think there's
actual
craftsmanship?
depth. I think there's so much music out there that's all vibe and no substance, no depth.
Okay, well that's true.
And
That's fair.
I think he's got depth. That's why he reaches the next level for
Well,
me.
depth, yeah. I mean, he's got depth, you know, for days. How does a musician get depth, you know? Like, why do you vibe with Michael now? Is it all is it philosophical?
I mean, you know, here's where you could read into things too much. Is that I feel like musicians they're almost like actors sometimes. They can tell a story that's not totally theirs, but really deeply feel it.
Yeah.
And that's possible. Like, I kind of walked away from the concert thinking, you know, I don't know, a life that like produced that music, like I don't know if I'd want to live it. Like it'd be hard, I think. Like art that's like often deep and meaningful feels like it comes from struggle.
Yeah.
And I feel like musicians, they might start off sort of faking it, but usually struggle catches up with everybody, and then it becomes genuine, and it's usually more touching when you can really feel that in somebody's voice and in their music.
Yeah.
Like one thing I really feel about his music that I don't necessarily feel about, you know, everybody else. I feel like there was like this sweet positivity in the difficulty of life. Like it wasn't like so many artists just wallow around, you know. Yeah. And I felt like he has like a a positivity about the music in the face of struggle. And it's like everyday listening. I don't listen to it and feel like, oh man, I got to turn this off or I'm going to be in a downer mood.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many artists go to that place because it's the place of emotion and we're going to
Sure.
touch somebody, but it's not, you know, we don't need to go there all the time, everybody.
Well, it's like I mean, it's not the story he wants to tell. I think that's the thing. And like to your point about kind of musicians telling stories, you know, well, obviously, like, shocker, you know, like you and I like really love music, and for a long time, and I love lyrical music. Like it's a big part of the musical experience to me. Is like, what does this person have to say? Like I wanna know and I wanna listen to it and I wanna maybe even attempt to understand it perhaps. But I realized at a certain point, like after years of kind of like listening to song lyrics and musicians like kind of doing this, like I think they're kind of like playing words like they play notes. You know what I mean? Like the story can be linear, but like the way that they tell it is through like the musicality of the, like they play feelings like notes, you know? If you describe something as torn instead of ripped, like those are two totally different feelings, and I think they play lyrics like that. And like a lot of what Michael has in his lyrics is like you get the feeling of his attitude about life in the words and the ways that he chooses to like describe his situation, describe what he's talking about.
For sure.
And so like I just like I get on with that, but like that's an energy like I can get into, you know.
Well, be more specific. Like he plays what emotion for? Like give me a song.
What does it mean to say love survive?
Yeah, well.
Right? So like it's not love survives, it's love survive. So it's either like a directive, love, comma, survive, or it's saying like love is a kind of survive, a form of how to survive. I don't know. That it's not plural, I think is like significant, and I think it's an artistic choice. And I think that an artistic choice like means something about what he's trying to say, more so than even like just like all of the choice, the entirety of the choice of lyrics. I guess what I'm saying is like there's like different ways that you can select the words that you would use as a lyric, and the meaning, perhaps like the literal meaning of the word itself might not be the only, is not like the only consideration in that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're taking it to like the deeply poetic place, and it's true that like beautiful poetry feels like it should be slightly ambiguous and kind of dance on all of the emotions that you feel when you're in that headspace.
Yeah.
But I also feel like just the main message of it is just something that, I mean, I guess the obviousness of it is something that I think is really powerful, especially now. Like we used to talk about how, you know, sometimes the cheesiest of lyrics is like the call of the human heart, that it's like for real. And the fact that he, you know, like how many people have written a love song about saying that, you know, the love is the only answer and da 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 da.
Yeah, all you need is love.
But the way that he says it and the way that it's so fresh, it just feels like a beautiful new anthem that kind of continues in that philosophy, where I feel like so many people don't have those feelings right now, like are so swept up in technology and the next thing and blah, 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 blah. And like, I don't even know if people even think about what love is anymore. They're so distracted by their phones. Maybe that sounds like a really cheesy thing to say, but I just love that he just kind of, it's a very declarative statement, and he really just hangs it out there.
Are you trying to say that you want to know what love is, Steve? That's it.
I want to know what love is. I do. Who doesn't want to know
He
what
does.
love
Michael
is?
now wants to know.
He wants to know. No, the thing is, he does know what love is, and he realizes, like, it's it's like after he realizes what love is, he realizes the only thing that matters is love, and that's what does survive. I mean, it's such a cheesy thing to say, but I believe it. I feel like it's a beautiful anthem.
Well, but this is why like music works, right? Like because it is a cheesy thing to say. I don't know that it's a cheesy thing to sing. You know, like that, and that's like the kind of encapsulation of that thought through art is like kind of what makes it observable, what makes it, I don't know, kind of like matter in a different way, is that it's a part of this like anthemic kind of song that has like also a feeling attached with it. Because to say that would be one thing. It's not an intellectual thing. Like I think it's a feelings thing, and music is like the perfect, what's the word, like viral vehicle for feeling.
That's interesting. Because there's so much cheese out there, but like if somebody sings it, is it automatically better?
Well, I kind of think, well, if it's accompanied with the right music, you know, like you can, I mean, hey, listen, a lot of great lyricism is talking about the simplest, cheesiest stuff you can talk about. By the way, it's why I'm drawing this hat the way that I am. I believe a drawing can make this hat deep. You know, in a way that painting can't.
Because it's just painting.
I mean, if you're just gonna paint it.
If you could only get people to say that, you would.
Listen, if there's any long-term outcome of us publishing shows like this, if that outcome is people saying just painting, nothing would make me happier.
Oh, you're just painting? Oh, why not draw?
Yeah. Oh, are you gonna draw or you're just gonna paint? Okay, just paint. Like people say this to me. Like I went to the Forum studio to draw, and they're like, "Oh, but if you're just drawing, you can be over here." I was like, what does that mean?
Well, it's just more involved, you know.
Oh, you got your little palette and your little cups, your little medium cups.
Oh, my little palette. Oh, that's
formulas.
cute.
Oh, I don't know if I should use lead white. What do you think? Are you using a miracle medium? I'm thinking about it.
Oh, wow. The miracle medium.
Come on, isn't that how you make good paintings?
know,
Isn't the miracle
is this
medium
how-
the thing that does it?
You know, just let it all out, Steve. That's really.
I
what this
think it's the
podcast is
miracle
about.
medium, right? If drawing had a miracle medium, maybe we'd get somewhere.
See, yeah, painting involves alchemy, you know.
Oh my goodness.
What do you get? You just get like a little burnt piece of wood somewhere or something.
What do you got? Well, you know, it's true that drawing. I think people treat drawing very simply, and so it responds in kind. It is then simple. You know, it's like when people say, "Oh, graphite's not a painterly medium, so we use charcoal." No, you simply are incapable of using graphite to its full potential, and so you blame the graphite for its lack of painterliness.
You know, you keep fighting that good fight, Steve.
Well, you know, it doesn't benefit you to be the first one through the door, does it? You know, all the draftsmen in subsequent generations will thank me for making fun of painters on a podcast.
Hey, you know, I think there's a lot of people out there that agree with you, Steve, you know.
Really?
There's a lot of people out there making drawing exciting. How about
There you
that?
go. Let's make drawing exciting again.
Like, I don't know, when I was like studying, I just don't feel like anybody made drawing exciting, so I wasn't excited about it.
Well, there you go. I mean, it does take
There's
a
like
person who's like messaging the right values, you know?
Like, there's a lot of cool, I don't know, drafts people out there. I don't know what you say. But, you know, there's a lot of people doing some great stuff with drawing medium out there now.
Well, of course there are.
I just remember being in school. It's like, here's a pencil and a kneaded eraser. Have a great time.
Yeah.
You know, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, well, it was all very like simplified. And, you know, I go through this with students nowadays too, where they're like, oh, well, isn't it that, you know, you should learn like the simplest possible version of something and then you can like do the complex thing. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, is it really like that? Does like life work like that? You know, are you able to like encapsulate things into the simple version? Like what my big fear with students is that they'll hear the simple version and think, oh, that's all it is.
What do you mean by that?
That there's nothing else
simple
to
version
it.
of what?
It's just of drawing.
Oh, okay.
Or like the visual world. So like I want to say like, no, there's like a million ways to do this. Like literally, as many ways as there are people doing it. That's how many ways there are. But I understand that, you know, some people want like the definitive, well, everybody wants the definitive answer, right? Like, what do I do? Just tell me what to do. I don't want to think about it. Which is not bad. It's, you know, it's fine. That's what it is to be human sometimes, is to just want the answer. But I'm reluctant to give that answer.
Well, you're so deep in your world, I don't even know what you're talking about.
What? Stop it. What do you think I'm talking about?
Well, I guess you're saying people want to break down drawing into the most simple of possible things?
Well, they just want to say, is it a shadow shape or a light shape? You know what I mean? Isn't that the answer? If I can do shadow shape, light shape, if I can do a barg, can I draw? And the answer is like, no, of course not. Like there's like a billion other things in it.
Here's a little bit of my hot take, because we've been at this a while now, and I've seen people kind of come out of these systems and then they're on the other side. And I feel like sometimes people come out on the other side of like good training and they kind of want to like take the ladder with them, you know, like the ladder of how to get there and kind of say, oh, the basics, let's skip over that and get to the meat of things. And I do understand how like you can innovate education. It doesn't mean you have to like just stay in the past, but I also feel like sometimes like people just got to learn those basics, and there's not really a way around them.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course you have to learn that. I'm just saying, like, I don't think the basics need to be all that basic. You know, like the extreme example of this is that, and again, I won't name names, but a certain teacher would like tell students, you know, just all you need to use is your 2B pencil, and then you just vary the pressure. No other pencils. And I always thought this was the biggest like underestimation of people's capacity to think that I like ever heard from a teacher. It's like, no, just let them choose. You tell them what the pencils do and let them choose. I guess that's what I'm saying about it. It's like, I don't think I would underestimate people to the extent that I feel like, oh, you can't understand this, so I'll just keep it from you. Like I won't tell you because you're not smart enough to get it.
Yeah, okay, I got you. I think a lot of people want to be told, maybe you don't want those to be the students, though. You know, they're looking for a formula. They're looking for a way to just kind of get some kind of traction.
Well, I think it's because you believe like that's what drawing is, you know, going in, is that you think, okay, there's a way to do it. It's like anything. You give me the way, and then I'll do that way, and then that'll be that.
Yeah.
And like you and I know that it's not like that. Like it's also a million other ways, you know, like, and the joy of it is the discovery of all those ways. You know, so I feel like if you don't inculcate somebody with the feeling that there's like a million ways that all need to be discovered, then you're like robbing them of that experience, you know, that possibility.
They all of them.
What do you mean? All? Yes. You're so doubtful all the time.
Well, I'm just playing the advocate here. Can't agree. How boring is that? We all agree on everything.
God forbid anybody agreed with me. What would that be like? A world where people agreed with me.
Well, then you'd argue with them about why they're wrong.
I would switch completely and immediately. Like, no, that's not how it is. That's not, Steve, that's patently false. It's untrue. That's not how I would be.
All right.
I think I got a good, kind of sparse, jazzy Michael Now picture going here.
You got a good thing going? Is that good thing going wrong? No?
Oh. Got a good thing going on.
Well, you know what? Like,
What?
I didn't. I think when I first heard that song, I thought, "Oh, I got a good thing going on."
Right.
And then I got to the concert and he was singing it.
Yeah.
And then the surprise came. I got a good thing going wrong, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't know if I
Changes
like
everything.
this anymore. Yeah, I don't want a good thing going wrong." Kind of made me a little sad after that.
I think he's got that good poetic energy about him, Like, I think he kind of gets this whole, like, don't give them the lyric they expect. Like, it should feel like a little bit like you want to take a left turn. It's like, you ever heard really bad pop music, and it's like you could almost sing the melody or the chorus, like, before you hear it, just because like, based on what they're saying, it's going to be the most
Yes.
sort of like plain, affected version of whatever that is, and there will be no deviation from that. Like, I think he's like deeply aware of like zagging when you're supposed to zig.
He paints a wall with a hacksaw.
Well, yeah, and like he's searching for those kind of poetic combinations of words. It's like obviously a thing I love so much about what he does. Is that like he's searching around, and I feel like I search around, like in my work, like I don't want to give you the rendering solution that everybody else gives you, like I want to find that render that feels spontaneous, that feels like it's like a moment.
Yeah, that's hard, right?
Well, of course it's hard. I mean, but
I think it's getting easier for you though. Like, so what is the journey to that place where you feel so comfortable with what you're doing that you can feel good improvising in that manner?
I feel like I've just searched down every possible pathway in drawing. I mean, again, even if you go with it's just drawing, let's say then that the benefit of that would be that you could explore all possible solutions and outcomes, right? Because it's just graphite on paper, and if you explore every different way you can get it there, you can kind of explore every different effect that you can get. And I feel like that's what I've been doing for like so long, is just trying to understand what all the effects are and where to pull them most usefully to like tell the story,
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want your drawing, all right, so if you want your drawing to be exciting, right? What's your shape language? How do you deploy that? Like what kind of materials are you using to get there? Like all these things like have answers. Like they're not, you know what I mean? They're not rhetorical, but you need to be so familiar with the landscape that you could call on them whenever needed. And I think that's the place where I feel like I'm at now, where I feel like, okay, if I want to do a drawing that feels like light and sort of jazzy, and just gives you the features, I know all of the ways that, at least all the ways currently that I understand, to kind of deploy that idea, using the materials and shapes and things that will make that effect occur.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're not playing those notes, You know what I mean? It's just a matter, like, it really is, at that point, just drawing, right? Like, you're just trying to get it accurate. Okay, but someone says that to me, like, that's not drawing, like, that's just measuring. Like, drawing is about, like, having a vision, you know?
Yeah, but that's, you know.
Imagine Michael now sitting down and telling you, oh, wait, Michael, tell me about your lyrics. Well, I just try and get them right. What? No, like he wants to tell a story with his lyrics, you know?
Yeah, well, the difficult part of what we're talking about here is that we also live in the world of somewhat realistic paintings.
Yeah.
And so there is a prerequisite to the language where it's not just total abstraction and total artistic expression.
Yeah.
So that can feel really confusing, I think, to most people, and I know it was for me. It's like, well, I don't want it to just be like a slop, and you know, art has gotten a bad rap from people just feeling stuff and not having some sense of craftsmanship or some kind of standard. But then at the same time, you know, trying to push the ball forward from some kind of academic realism and have feeling, I guess, is what we're talking about.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's not all for that, what is it for? Right? Like, if all that survives is your love, right? And all that you pour into your work is your accuracy, what's going to survive?
Not much. I guess your love of accuracy.
Well, there you go. I mean, it is a multiplistic universe in that sense. That sure, like that, you know what, that is an answer, and I love that like there's space in artwork for like a provocateur who wants to say who that is your story, you know, like that, make that fascinating, you know, show me that world.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, like if you were to go like really contrarian about that, like you and Uglo, right? Like he is the measurer. Right?
Yeah.
But there is some kind of like weird subtext to that whole experience.
Yeah, no, sure. Like you really get a window into his world through that. And like far from wanting to like, you know, what's the word? Like denounce that idea. Like I want to support that idea. Like, but recognize, come on, it's a story. It's not, I don't actually love it for the measuring. I love it for the fact that he is this compulsive measurer. And like, and maybe in some way, we all have like an element of that in us, where we're compulsively measuring parts of our life, or measuring ourselves against, you know, other achievers, or, you know, measuring the results of our efforts, you know. And we see that, like that is the story. And maybe that story is being told somewhat, I don't want to say by coincidence, because it's to discount an artist's intent, but like that is his story. Maybe it chose him, maybe he chose it, you know what I mean? But he was able to lean into it and say, this is me, this is what I'm about.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think Michael now means when he says he's painting a wall with a hacksaw?
Painting a wall with a hacksaw. Well, you know,
it's a great line.
I mean, I'm not so sure, but tell me why. Sell me on it.
It's kind of got like this real kind of like lazy man vibe to the song, which is what it feels like. That's what he inhabits.
I think he's got
like
that look. Like he's got he's got like a, I just hang out all day kind of face.
Yeah, like we're just gonna sit around, have a smoke.
Why is he talking like that? Why was he? He's not a degenerate. Like
yeah, we're just painting a wall with a hacksaw. No, so no, I love. It kind of ties into that whole thing with painting, where it feels like, you know, when you want that uncontrolled control. When you're using some kind of weird tool to describe and do something difficult and articulate. And like that line captures that idea so perfectly. Like that why would you ever paint a wall with a hacksaw? Like it's the wrong tool, and everybody gets upset. You're talking about like people trying to be accurate and measure. Like the right tool just produces boring results, and when you paint a wall with a hacksaw, that's what his music does, really. You're not a fan.
Wait, his music paints a wall with a hacksaw?
Well, I mean, maybe not quite like that, but
You're vibing it. You're going big vibe.
I'm going big vibe. Yeah.
You're talking from the heart.
Well, he is.
He definitely is. The day I started smudging is the day I started drawing, Steve. Let me tell you that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it pretty much solves like most of like the problems of drawing.
Yeah. The Roman Academy of Smudging. When in doubt, smudge.
I mean, when you're not in doubt, smudge. When you're sure, when you're certain, smudge all the time. Well, I think that it's funny because you go to Michael now for his chillness. And I think I go to Michael now actually for his intensity.
Well, I guess that's the thing about him, is that he has like a couple of different opposite pieces of tension in his work. He's very intense and he's very chill.
Yeah, it's like...
Can you have both of these at the same time?
Well, it's, you touched on it earlier, but it's the intense, it's the chill way that he deals with the intensity of life. I think that, attracts me a lot to his music, because he's talking about serious subjects, but the language he's using to talk about them I don't mean language in terms of just like actual verbiage. I mean like language, like the artistic language that he's using, is one that is actually quite contrary in the sense that it's very relaxed.
Yeah, and that's what I need in life.
Yeah.
Well, that's partly what attracts me, is like I don't want to feel so intensely. I want to feel intense, but I don't want to be like destroyed by it.
To be volatile,
Yeah, I feel like, well, it kind of touches on another thing that I find interesting about him, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like he's got like a sweet, beautiful, strong, masculine singing voice, and I just can't, like the tone in his voice is something that I just really appreciated in person a lot more as well, because like I really kind of hate live music.
Wow.
And I really do, like, because like I love a song, like the way it's played, and I have such strong feelings associated with that. And when you go to a show, often a musician is playing around with that, and also usually it's just not as good.
Right.
It reminds me, I was really big into Guns N' Roses, and then like Axl Rose gives like the most epic fail performance ever. Not that anybody cares about him anymore, but like he was awful in person. And then like this guy, I felt like walking away from this performance, I felt like, man, you're a real musician. Like he sounded so strong, and like he could have kept going for 3 more hours and it would have been just fine.
Yeah, like he kind of knew what he was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of clarity of message, Like it comes through in like all the parts of the performance, not just in the music itself. Yeah.
And so that like mellow intensity is something that's it's attractive. It's like, it's strong. It's not, he doesn't have like a whiny voice. Like so much of the music I like has a little bit of a whine to it, and it's sad and everything.
Yeah.
And I felt like there's something in the way that he performs and sings that kind of goes with his philosophy, and it just feels like the right tone in my life right now.
Do you feel that like there's a good chance, or a chance at all, that he's actually nothing like his music?
Why you gotta rock the boat like that?
I'm just asking the question. I want to know if you feel like, I think like so many performers and like even artists, you know, there's a thing that you love, and then there's a thing that you are. And I don't think those
Sure.
things are always the same. And I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel like he's portraying this because it's something that he admires, or that it's something that he is and therefore exudes it?
Oh, I mean, I feel like a lot of great actors, or the ones that I don't even know if great is the right word, but I think that they're able to, you know, toy around with words and mess around with the language of the art. But in the end, they do kind of communicate a piece of who they are. Mm-hmm. And I know that for actors, you know, part of their job is to be somebody else. But I don't think that that's always the case for musicians. I mean, I feel like they're trying to communicate and tell their story. They're not trying to obfuscate or be somebody else necessarily.
Well, okay, you're taking the hard tack on this, which is like either they're real or they're not. But what I'm saying is, like, I think that because somebody performs something, it can come from them as they are, and maybe that's like, in a lot of ways, the strongest version of it. But it also like is something that they admire or aspire to. I mean, look at like Bob Dylan's early career, you know, like he's this sort of, you know, kid from, wait, was he from the countryside? Or was he from New York?
I think he's from like Minneapolis or Chicago.
So he's from the middle of nowhere. And he goes out and he wants to be Woody Guthrie, right? So in a lot of ways, he becomes this Woody Guthrie-esque figure. And then he performs that deeply and feels it like incredibly deeply, to the extent that like some of his great music comes out of this, you know, admiration that he has for that mentality, not this ownership of it. So like I think that we like look at musicians a lot and we kind of say, like we mistake them for their art. Or authors, for that matter. I think another really good example of this.
Well, maybe you're trying to like have a bone to pick here.
I'm not picking any bone. Stop it with your bone picking. I'm saying, like, do you feel like
he's portraying somebody he's not? I mean, what do you mean?
Plenty of artists portray things that they're not and are great in that portrayal. Like, it's not a crime to. You're taking it as if it's some kind of like slight against him. I'm saying, like, perhaps it's an even greater expression of him as a musician that he, you know, might portray something that he himself is not.
Well, yeah, all right. So I mean, you can fall in love with a musician and then you realize they're actually somebody different. I think I understand what you mean by that. But I don't think that the sentiment is something that they're sort of faking. Maybe it is an aspiration, or maybe it's a thought or a wandering, but I'm into those thoughts and wanderings.
I'm just saying you're making this about faking. I'm not saying it's faking. I'm saying that I'm saying that that's genuinely how art takes place at times.
Well, this just sounds a little abstract for me. Like, what exactly do you mean by all this?
There is only an abstract version of this. There only is the version where Michael now is either like a super chill guy who just likes super chill music and likes making super chill music, or he's somebody who like admires and loves and aspires to that mentality, and through his art he addresses that aspiration.
Oh, like, so you're wondering, is he actually chill or is he maybe neurotic? Is that
There you
what you're
go.
saying? Is he actually like stressed out and uses music as a cathartic experience?
Well, these are the questions that I think are kind of interesting to ask with an artist and their motivations. You know, the conflict within the human heart. This is the thing that I don't know, I feel like makes most art worth observing, listening to, watching in any way.
Yeah, well, I could see that tension existing. I mean, he's a human being. You know, I get that he might not always feel chill. Like, I don't think like, who's chill?
Yeah, because like I think that there's like an extent to which in his music I always feel this there's like a quiet drama. Like it's not, it sounds very chill, but I'm not sure that the overall accumulated effect of it is like a chill one. I don't chill when I hear Michael Now music. I kind of vibe in with this like intensity that's coming out softly. And that speaks to me of like having other things kind of rippling below the surface.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not just chill.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like it's not like, hey, we just put this on. Well, like you said, you put it on at a barbecue or something. I mean, it could be barbecue music, but it's very thoughtful. It's very deep. It's introspective, and that's what I think is it kind of. I guess what you're saying is that it could send mixed messages. You know, you could get a chill vibe from it, but below the surface is something a little deeper. It's not just like, hey, we're out to have a good time.
Yeah, like that he's. And I mean, you know, I like having a good time as much as the next guy. But there's like, I feel like there's like more in his music than, like there is some music that's just a chill vibe, you know, and that's fine. But that's not what I see in his music.
So I feel like we're wandering around here talking about his music, but like, give me some tracks, give me some specifics, give me some talk about a song and like, you know what you're getting at when you hear a specific track.
Like I think "Good Thing" is like a great example, right? That it is this. Like if you listen to it tonally, let's imagine for a second, right? You don't speak English, so you're listening to this track, and it's just the energy, right? Just whatever energy's in it. Like there is a little bit of like a melancholy. Tonality to it, right? Like the notes are kind of descending a bit. You know, like it has that sort of slightly demure energy of something that's about something kind of sad. But it also, like it has a feeling of being very also like relaxed. Like whoever's singing this is also relaxed about how they're feeling about it. But then as you say, it's I've got a good thing, I've got a good thing, I've got a good thing. Going wrong. And so there's this like contrast between like the plight of a human in enjoying and engaging with what they love and then also losing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I don't know if anybody can relate to that.
Well, but you see what I'm saying? So it's like it's this like incredible contrast in his music, and it's why actually, you know, when I hear songs of his that are like more relaxed, like I think those are not necessarily the Michael Now that I come to. Like I come to the Michael Now who is conflicted also. Like that for me is like some of the like the deep resonance in his music that I feel is the contrast of emotions between. This lovely kind of serene vibe that he feels and aspires to and loves, and yet the conflicted way that he might feel about it.
Well, I can't listen to music forever that just is always serious and heavy, and I do understand like a lot of the tracks that are really important are epics, and I always think about this with art. I mean, I'm always drawn to the epics. Mm-hmm. The reason I stopped with Michael Now and I really loved it is that because there were these epic songs, you know, epic songs like A Loose Dust. Like A Loose Dust is like, whoa, bro. Like that song just really hits very hard. But like I can't hang out with A Loose Dust forever, you know what I mean? And so then like I love the song like Smooth Isles, where it just feels, I mean, sure, I think that there's deep, you know, there's still a little conflicted energy in it, but it is just a little more of a good vibe song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a real kind of small target that he's hitting, like with his music, in the sense that like it's able to be chill and it's able to be intense. And like I kind of love artists that are able to do that. Like I kind of admire that idea that you're able to be like serious and chill, because you know, coming from the realist world, like you know the default tonality in all work is like serious sad, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like I just feel like it's so suffocating at times to be like in that space constantly. And I love an artist who's able to have like not one foot on either side of the fence, but like to equally express these things in a way that feels like more balanced, like a wine, you know, like it's sort of sweet and it has minerality.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, with his music, one of the things I was also really loving is that usually when somebody's got a great vibe and a great style, they end up repeating themselves a lot, and it becomes like you're just, I don't know, repetitive. Like you kind of lose interest. You remember that one
pastiche
song
of yourself.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, I love Mazzy Star, but like that one album feels like a repeat over and over again.
Yeah.
There's She Hangs Brightly is a good one. It's got a couple of different vibes, but with Michael Now, it does feel like each song is a work of art, and he's sort of crafted it to be unique. He's not chasing himself. He's not chasing his own sound. He's trying to make a unique statement with each song, and I really love that. And I think it's a very hard thing to do as an artist, when you kind of find a formula or something that works, to still treat your subject matter with sensitivity.
Yeah.
And not just feel like you're just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I heard this advice that Jay-Z gave about albums, making albums. Like, you need to reinvent yourself every album. Which, like, obviously, like, knowing the gallery world, it's like the opposite of what, like, the commercial side of artwork, like, wants you to find your widget and wants you to make 1,000 of them forever. So the idea that like you would have a great artist in rap, saying, listen, no, like every time it needs to be fresh. I think that there's something to that. It's something I feel in Michael's work about that too, where it's like, yeah, it's not Michael Now Part 6,
Well, there's a consistent vibe to it, but I just feel like every song's special. Every song's really considered.
You think he's a chill hang?
What do you... I bet he's a really chill hang. See, another thing I would love, I feel like he's just some weird guy in his basement with like a really cool collection of instruments, and he probably like loves each one of them, and like he's really into music. He's not, looking for some like big payoff or what, hit it big with my next YouTube single or something. Yeah. Like I think he genuinely loves what he's doing, and I don't know, like I'd love to see all his weird little instruments. I'm an instrument collector myself, and something tells me he's got like just some weird organs down there. And
you're hoping to get an email. You're hoping to get an email that's like, no, Steve, no. You've spoken to my soul with your weird instrument collections. Come hang out with me.
I think it's real. Yeah, I was looking at his Bandcamp page, and he's got like this weird like French organ thing that it's like a weird antique, and all those like weird, like he really layers the sound. That's another thing. I'm always into layers, whether it comes to artwork or music or whatever. I love the layered sound to it. It's not just like an acoustic set. He's got like all these like funky choices of instruments I've never heard before.
Yeah, layers.
Like actually, I bought the record. I bought the record, and Rebecca. So we bought a record player, and like, sometimes old records make weird noises, right? There's like, I don't know. It's like there's a little wobble in the record, or the needle's not quite right, or something like that. And she was listening to Michael Now for the longest time, and she just thought it was like some weird defect in our vinyl. And then we put it on, some digital, listening on my phone or something. She's like, oh, is that really how it sounds? And I was like, yes. It's like this weird nostalgia and mix of the past and the present. And I love that feeling. It's the same, not to like fetishize it or something, but it's the same feeling I get when I go to a record store and I like, I don't know, get in touch with the past a little bit. Kind of smell the age of things. I don't want to make it sound,
Make it sound, what? Don't be so ashamed of how you make things. Just go. Make it sound how it sounds.
But I love that. I feel like there's a disconnect with music nowadays through the phone and through reels and all of that. And I loved his, there's this brand of music now that feels like it's old, but it's new.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I feel like he inhabits that.
Yeah. There's like a huge kind of garage rock thing going on right now that's like kind of like neo, I call it kind of neo garage rock, where you have like the sound of the 60s but kind of filtered through the like, the perspective of the, kind of 2020s or whatever. It's a fascinating take, because also, especially with music, it manages to stay so fresh. It doesn't feel like a pastiche. It kind of feels like kind of genuine. It feels felt, it feels earned.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've kind of moved on from a certain cultural moment of music and bands, but it's not like I don't want to still hang out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love this music that kind of, they're not trying to be like crazy new. They're trying to fill out a genre that still had a lot of meat left on the bone. Like there's so many bands where I feel like, man, I wish there was like another 3 albums of this.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of this music is filling that space.
Well, we were talking about this the other day, but like, there's that sense of like, how does a band or a musician, anybody, whatever, how do they come up with one stone cold, undeniable, flat out banger? And then just not at all after that. I mean, not even a little bit. Not at all. Like you buy the album and you go like, who is this?
Yeah.
This is not the band I fell in love with. I just think it's a really interesting thing. Like it's like we all know it, but it's like kind of underexplored. Like we know it happens, but I don't think anybody knows how. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the physics of the one-hit wonder. Like what is the calculus in that happening?
Well, it's also like a sports team where like they overachieve and there's magic in the season.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you can't like put that, you can't repackage it.
Yeah, you catch lightning in a bottle and there's magic and like nothing.
Okay. But what's the lightning? Like this is the, like everybody goes, yeah, the lightning in the bottle. Yes. But what is the lightning in the bottle, I guess, is what I'm asking. Like how do we understand that? Like, cause all right, even Michael now. Now I think that for being an artist myself, like understand, like you can become you can become enchanted of a kind of particular idea in a particular moment, and it kind of carries you away, and you kind of live for that space and that moment, and then it passes and it goes. Something like Love Survive. Now I love so much of his music. It's not in any way or shape or form to call him a one-hit wonder, but like. He really inhabited that space and felt it like so deeply. But like, I don't think there's another Love Survive in the pipeline. Like, I don't think that's coming. Do you know what I mean?
Well, here's a funny question. Do you think he could have performed Love Survive in a different way that feels like it doesn't matter as much?
That feels like it doesn't. Tell me more about this.
Could he like have missed a take or like presented that song in a way that's like, oh, that's all right. Like I feel like the vocals on that with the backing track with the chorus, Love Survive. Having those ladies in there is like another level. Like if it was just him and
I've always felt like the opening line to that song. Like I feel two ways about it. I feel in one sense, yes. And in another sense, I feel like when I show people that song, it's the lyric or the moment where I want to say like, okay, but wait, keep listening. By that I mean like, so this is my conquering song.
Yeah.
It's like that's where the tonal shift is. Like from that to this like vulnerability. And I don't know. I mean, it's obviously he's a person of contrast. He loves like a contrasting lyric and a contrasting idea. And I think maybe that's kind of at the heart of it somewhere. But yeah, that opening line like always hit me so hard. You know? And then I was like ready for the... Well, yeah, like what is he conquering? This is his conquering song. And like, I think he's saying that, I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but, you know, like he's, I'm going to get emotional talking about it, but he's like admitting his vulnerability. But
well,
but that's like his power. That's the strength of it, right?
Yeah. I think he's conquering himself with the song, conquering his own ego and realizing that only what he loves will survive, not like some kind of ego thing and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so powerful.
Yeah, it's a sort of strength and resignation. At the same time. Contrast again. Like, and if there's a crime that I think artists commit, you know, representational or otherwise, it's like tonal kind of flatness, you know, like making a work all one thing.
Please elaborate, Stephen.
Well, I just mean to say, like, you know, everybody understands. I used the wine metaphor before. Like, I'm so bad at wines. I don't really know anything about them. And in fact, my taste for wines, I think, is very like unrefined. I'm very, you know, I'm not a super wine drinker. But I understand the mechanics of it, right? Maybe, you know what, the metaphor that would work better for me that I truly understand is like coffee, right? So coffee has like a naturally bitter flavor. So if you're really going to be talking about tasting coffee, you're going to be talking about tasting the bitterness, right? Now, some coffee is like really, really acidic. And in fact, the experience of the coffee is improved if you say like have a piece of maybe dark chocolate with it, right? So that you have on your palate like some sense of sweetness, and that kind of, without overpowering, it helps you to taste the bitterness without being distracted by the bitterness, you know? And like, I think if you're an artist and you're into like expressing a feeling, expressing it in a tonally flat way is kind of, it's like coffee that's too bitter, or it's like wine that's too sweet. Like you fail to taste the full gamut of flavor there because it's this in this monotonous place.
So how does that apply to realist art?
Oh my God, Steve! Like, are you
I'm
kidding
so
me?
sorry.
Like, are you joking?
I'm so sorry.
No,
well, for the rest of us,
all right.
Stephen.
All right. No, take an adventure with me. How do you think it applies to realist art?
No, this is not my conversation. This is not my bone to pick. This is your bone to pick.
All right. Jesus, or you just leave me alone on an island here.
Ah.
Listen, it's about realist art because I think realist art can sometimes be tonally flat. Sometimes when it's sweet, it's all sweet. Sometimes when it's bitter, it's all bitter. Sometimes it's political, it's all political. But like what makes the political feel something is the personal, right? What makes the personal feel something is to attach to something larger. I think that sometimes realist artists will think like too small about what their message is, right? And I think some of that could be also because how difficult it is to iterate as a realist artist, right? Like it takes time costs things, you know, career-wise, that's difficult to kind of balance. And so the messages kind of get smaller and smaller, you know, bite-sized pieces where it's just a head, you know? And that's kind of enough, but it isn't enough. And I think music has a great way of kind of addressing that by being able to be broad and expansive because of its abstraction, you know? And I think that realist artists need to kind of embrace this idea of like kind of, you know, balance and depth and also, frankly, abstraction, right? There are abstract qualities in their work that are expressing something, and if they're not harnessing those, I think that it's making the work arrive flat. There, I said it. That's my truth.
I don't get it, Steve. Can you?
Oh my God.
No. I say that kind of partly because realist art, like that's kind of the thing is if you did those things, people would say, "I don't get it."
Well,
What's
you
it
have
about?
a particular reason why that you feel that way.
I don't get it. Tell me more.
Well, but like, and I think as artists we get in that trap too of like, I don't get it. You know what? How many musicians have been caught saying in an interview, if I had an explanation for it, it wouldn't be a song. Like I wouldn't, why would you care about the music? Don't make me explain. Explain to me Smells Like Teen Spirit. Explain to me what makes that song so powerful. Huh?
Well, I would, but then
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't because like it's not responding to that kind of like rational positioning. And I think if you limit representational art by only having it respond to rational positioning, I think you fail to like complete your message, to like strengthen your message, to send your message out to the world in the way that the most people can feel it.
Very passionate, Steve.
I'm a passionate guy. So's Michael Now. You know, if I could be more like Michael Now in my work, I would be. All right, favorite track. Come on, come with it right now. And it can't be Love Survive. You can't choose that one.
I feel like I need a refresher. I need to like hear.
Play one.
I feel like.
I think you're gonna choose some song. That's what I think.
Oh, you're such a bully. You say, oh, you have to feel how I feel. Okay.
Well, the thing that bothers me, the thing that bothers me is I don't get any credit for your Michael Now fandom. Not once. Not once have I even heard like, oh, Stephen, thank you for introducing me. Oh, Stephen, thank you for buying the ticket that brought me to the Michael Now concert.
Oh, you think I didn't say that? You think I didn't say thank you?
I don't.
Oh,
you
didn't hear it. Well, you were too busy listening to yourself. No, man, it was great. It was a great experience.
Yeah, I was really so stoked that we all got to do it. That was really amazing.
Yeah, okay.
I want to ask this question, but I already know, unfortunately, what the answer is going to be. Well, whose portraits are going to like better? Yeah.
Well, there's color.
No, well, there's color. He's going to like the color more.
Well, you know what I'm going to do here?
Yeah.
I'm going to apply a brushstroke with a hacksaw. You like that? No, you don't like that, do you? That's too kitschy. What? I want to paint a wall with a hacksaw here.
Yeah.
So we're going to take it, and there is my hacksaw brush. Well, it's not really a hacksaw.
Oh, you're playing to the audience here. You're appealing to his sensibility. Oh, Michael,
Whoa.
I'm also painting a wall with a hacksaw.
So you're a tool. Hey, when we do the Dylan episode, I'm gonna have to like do something kitschy like that. I'm okay with being a little weird. I know you're uncomfortable with it.
Oh, I can't deal with weird. Look at me,
the
guy who can't deal with
highbrow. Yeah, you gotta go highbrow.
Just as weird as the next guy. I think it's a great photo of Michael Now, by the way.
I'm enjoying it more than I'm painting it now. I guess that's always how it goes, though.
Yeah,
I try to find the beauty in it.
I feel like somehow, I immediately got a connection to it. I don't know. Sometimes you just have a thing and you go with it. Like I immediately felt like, yeah, there's something here for me.
To me, he looks a little bit like a caddy right now. You know, those caddies with
caddy.
green hats.
He's a guy.
You
He's
know,
a man. He has dignity. He got a hat.
He's on the course. You know, he's out there.
You're just thinking of people that need to keep the sun out of their eyes. And the only thing you thought of was the caddy.
He's, you know, he's looking for the next par 5. You know.
What? Do you think he golfs?
No, I don't think he golfs.
I wouldn't be shocked. Listen, people golf.
Who golfs? Michael now doesn't.
I've golfed.
Golf. I've golfed too, but like he's busy making beautiful music.
You never told me that you golfed.
I've golfed. It wasn't a great experience.
It wasn't great for you, or it wasn't great in general? Like you
Wow.
didn't enjoy it, or you weren't good at it?
You know what? It was kind of fun, but you know, it's like one of those things. Do you really want to get into it? Like once you get into it, you're not going to come out.
I mean, sure.
like
I came out. Wait a minute. I came out of it. I've done that. Like I golfed briefly. I would golf again.
Yeah.
I don't see why Michael now couldn't be a person that writes Love Survive and also a guy that golfs. I don't think those things are necessarily, like, they're not sort of antithetical.
So what attracted you to this picture?
I think immediately, you know, it's funny that you've mentioned the hat so much, and like I've talked about it so much. I think it's the slightly disheveled nature of the hat that kind of makes me attached to it. You know, it's an underrated thing that is like just totally true. I think when you see somebody who's a little bit disheveled, like you just feel like they're a bit more real, like they're a bit more relatable. You know, you don't feel like you have to, you know, like they're the host of the party. You know, when you go to their house, and like you feel comfortable because they're just really cash. You know.
Yeah. Well,
like
he
I
definitely inhabited that vibe.
Well, yeah, like that's like his energy, and I think that comes across I feel like it comes across in that hat, you know? Who picks a hat like this? This hat is like a really big statement of like, I'm just wearing this hat. Don't worry about me, right?
It's a statement piece. The hat's a statement.
Michael, I'm sorry. But it is, it's a little bit of like, there's like a bit of a, you know, it's a statement by way of non-statement. You know, nobody considers a hat like this. Nobody's like wearing a hat like that going, you know what's going to pull this ensemble together? This hat. It's going to put me over the top. People are going to notice how I look. That's not a thing that's happening. No.
This doesn't put him over the top.
I don't think that he thinks that. I mean, it put it over the top for me. You know, drawing doesn't get enough credit for how hard it is, you know?
How much more credit do you need, huh? Let me know.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe I just need some. Let's start
Like
with some and see where it goes.
Who's going to give it? Who's going to be the doler of
The
credit?
Portrait Society of America.
All right.
I think that's where it starts. Accepting drawing as an actual art form that is as expressive as painting would be a good start. I'm judging the Almenara competition this year. I'm going to make a difference. There's going to be a good, expressive, poetic drawing that wins an award there.
And who's going to make it?
Well, it can't be me.
Well, I mean, who could it be then, you know?
There's plenty of people it can be. It's just not going to be me. What I'm saying is there needs to be space for non-photorealistic drawings to like win competitions. It's absolute nonsense that like all you got to do, just grind away with your 0.5 millimeter, you know, for, 60 hours and we'll give you a prize. That's not drawing.
So what's drawing?
So it's total silence following that take, Steve.
Well, you know.
You think PSOA is coming after you?
Just want to let it breathe.
They're gonna be.
Just want to let it breathe a little bit.
It's gonna be guys in like dark vans, you know, SUVs showing up at your house. We heard you didn't like our selections. Well, you know, here's the thing, like, and this is trouble, is that nobody's like in an okay space to talk critically about realism. And that's in fact like the weakness of a genre is not having like actual critical assessment. Because it kind of means that either like A, nobody cares enough to be critical, because you are more critical of the things you care about, or it's simply not popular enough to garner a diversity of opinion. Like that's the dark, scary part of the fact that like nobody talks about what happens at these competitions.
So what space does photorealism, what space does that fill that actually works for you and you feel like it's valid still? Like if you take away all artistry, which is really what you're arguing for artistry within the field of realism. Mm-hmm. But some people are going to be photorealists. What do you know, in order for them to, take home the prize for you, what needs to happen?
Wow, that's I really love the question. Also, it's very challenging to the idea that I'm presenting. And I think all good ideas deserve a challenge, just like great artwork deserves a challenge. So in order for photorealism, all right, I'm sorry, all photorealists on the planet, I have an opinion. Photorealism starts with this premise of being as much like a machine as possible. And I think that's exactly where my departure lands. I don't think a human is a very good machine in terms of like mechanical reproduction. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't need cameras. We would just have people do it. So the idea that your endeavor to express yourself through being as much like a machine as possible seems like a tough starting point for me. Add into that by default, you reduce diversity in outcome because cameras, and I'm sorry, photographers, are relatively more uniform than people in terms of expressing outcomes. Yes, photographers can make tons of choices, but I also don't find that photorealists tend to do the most that photography has to offer. I think that they tend to be very mediocre photographers and then tend to copy that mediocre photography. In fact, if the photography was much better, I think the photorealism itself would be much better.
So I guess that's the answer to my question, huh?
Which is?
That you want more artistry in the arrangement in the photograph.
Sure, if you're gonna bring photorealism out, then what's your photography about? Don't just give me, one more scene in a diner, some ketchup bottles. Like, I don't care anymore. Not that art's a technology, but we have crossed that bridge where we know people can do that. And I don't know that you're necessarily contributing to the great stream of arts in the history of humanity by making yet another, painting or drawing of a countertop with salt and pepper shakers.
See, that's the cut right there.
Oh, I'm not going to make any friends here. This is going to be really bad.
No.
They really dislike me for this.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I would levy also tons of criticism on more classical, traditional forms of realism. It's not that I just have a bone to pick with photorealists. I think every art form deserves its criticism and to have higher expectations of its practitioners.
Well, I did feel like Almenara was cool in that it had a representation of photorealists that were good. And I also felt like they had some more creative work that was, it had kind of space for both. I mean, you know me, I'm kind of like a both kind of guy.
Yeah.
And, both were impressive and both could coexist. And most places, I don't think that they can.
Well, I mean, I think this is the issue, right? Far be it from me to say, if photorealism calls to your soul, that your soul's invalid. For sake, that's not my message. But when I look at the judging of competitions, it just seems to be like weighted on like hourly input. Like how long did the thing take you? Then it must be good.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I guess the thing about that kind of realism that I don't like as much is it's designed to be impressive. Like it's not designed around feeling, which is maybe what you're talking about in the first place.
Yeah.
Like if it's designed around feeling, then I get that, but it's often like, hey, yeah, how long did I work on this? Oh, it looks really good, right? It looks real. Whereas there is no like artistic content. And so like when you take away artistry, right, you do take away the content, the artistic content too.
Yeah.
So then people are sort of left there naked with just the image to tell the story, and that can be a pretty difficult place.
Well, but there you go. If the image itself, like, think about, cinematographers. The image itself is there to tell the story, right? Show, don't tell. Make it visual, not verbal. Then tell me the story, like for sure, Mm-hmm. I think that's where I land. Now, there's an additional sidebar to that. Sure. I think that the hand of the artist is a part of the story. I think that artists are inseparable from, or rather their voice is inseparable from like the mark that they make also. I want that really badly. I don't want to remove traces of humanity from the work that's being made. And so it's another sort of moment where maybe I sort of, diverge from appreciating photorealism.
Well, this is another reason why I do like the whole Michael Now vibe too, just to bring it back to him, is that I feel like he hasn't produced away his humanity. He likes these vintage instruments. He likes this vintage sound and sort of the little warp, like how Rebecca thought the sound felt like a warped record.
Yeah.
It feels like the traces of humanity are still left in the music. They haven't been overproduced away.
Yeah.
It's like there's almost like little scratches in it. You know what I mean? Like it's not so clean.
Yeah. Yeah, and you feel that kind of kinship with it for that reason. How's your portrait coming? You finished yet?
It's pretty good. For the image it is. I don't know if it, survives the Steve standards.
Does your love survive, Steve?
I don't know. I'm doing what I love.
Well, I feel good in my halftones over here. I got a lot of halftones going on. I feel good about it. I'm on this whole new trip where like I just make up the light. I just completely make it up.
Let's go.
Yeah, and I'm happier that way.
You make it up.
I just make it up as I go.
Do you learn that at the Florence Academy? Is that like one of those techniques you learn there? The make it up as you go thing? Was that like from the school of Titian or what? Where did you get that one?
Well, you say that jokingly, but I think Titian absolutely would have understood.
Well,
that.
This is what I'm saying. I'm joking, but it is true, right?
Yeah, like I think there's so much more making up than observation, and certainly in the history of artwork, like the strictly observational was like such a small window of time where that was like, it was sort of naturalism and a little bit after kind of thing. But the conjuring up of like stronger effects is like old as time and perpetuates today, mostly in movies and things. But in painting as well. It's just one school that like doesn't accept that.
Well, it's really the right kind of training to just have a series of experiences where you learn vocabulary. And then you just shove them out there into the world where they got to figure out what they do with it.
Well, I think, my feeling on this is always, don't make your practical exercise to build skill be forced to be like turned into an artistic statement. Like I think that's where the shortcomings arrive to me. Just kind of build up this philosophy that like your studies really encapsulate your artwork, and it's not, and it shouldn't be.
Well, that's what I mean. That's the shove.
Yeah, well, exactly,
like,
exactly. Teach them some principles.
Where's the shove?
And then go, well, listen, now you gotta go out and experience things. Now you gotta go out and feel things. Now you gotta go out and express things. You know?
Well, I mean, really, like, so that's what I think the whole like mood board and having like a workflow process really matters. And I feel like there's just not, I feel like, all right, what I felt like was when I finally got to a school that was serious enough about figurative, like making some storytelling and everything, it felt like, oh, we're going to study the compositions of the old masters, and that's where the secret lies. I'll get out my calipers. I'll golden ratio my way there. That's where the feeling is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like, I do think there are mechanisms that you can have. I just don't know. I think that if there's anything that like me and you and, you know, people that kind of putting some kind of pieces back together after a big, long, you know, time in the wilderness of realism is kind of finding the new mechanisms to go further than what we had.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the positive way of saying it, instead of saying, oh, well, you didn't do this for me.
Yeah.
You know, like finding the new things that can actually, you know, we participate and add to the dialogue. The dialogue. The
Get a dialogue, buddy.
The conversation.
Get yourself a dialogue, you know? All right. Do we have a top 5 Michael Now's? Do we have a top 5 Michael Now tracks improv session right now?
What does that mean?
We go back and forth. You name a track, I name a track.
Okay.
Who gets to start?
I think I need to start because, like, your energy just it gets intense, you know. Like I don't know.
And that's bad. We don't want intensity. I should go to sleep for the pod. I should take a nap.
Oh. Okay. All right. I'm gonna start off with a song that he played live, and I wasn't thrilled about because I wanted to hear "Love Survive."
Yeah.
Painting a Wall.
Okay.
Off the new album, Painting a Wall, opening line, Painting a Wall with a Hacksaw. This song feels like it should be in a movie. It feels like it should be in like some weird exotic bar scene in a Quentin Tarantino movie, where you walk in and there's some awkward steel guitar and some weird vibes going on. And I just love the space that happens before the first lyric even happens. And then forever, you know, like I'll forever, you know, painting a wall with a hacksaw, we already talked about it. But the idea of like, I feel like that's maybe even an analogy for the way he makes music with like these weird instruments and funky ways of getting there. Is that using tools you're not supposed to use. You know, just like how we were talking about making artwork that's a little unexpected and kind of uncharted and unique to us. I feel like that's a big part of artistic expression, is feeling comfortable with uncomfortable tools.
Yeah.
So I love that song for this. It was a great tune live, and I love the movie vibes. I feel like Michael Now should be in so many movies with the tone that he sets.
Well, I gotta match that now. I gotta match the intensity of your appreciation. I don't know if I. All right, one of us is gonna get to say "Love Survive."
It's all yours.
No. I'm gonna let it No, maybe I'm gonna take it. You know, I would defer. I would leave it behind. I would, I would risk not getting to say it. Love Survive is by a long shot my favorite Michael Now track. And I think it's one of those things that, much like Astral Weeks by Van Morrison, like it just kind of came into my life organically in a moment that just completely spoke to me. I can't even say it's like the best song that's ever written, but I know that when like it came into my life, like it was so important to me so immediately. It spoke to something I was feeling very deeply, which was, you know, what is the point of my existence? Like why am I here? And it's not that I would think it answered it, because the fact is, I mean, it had been something I've been kind of meditating on myself anyway, right? Like, what is it to believe in something at all? You know, and as an atheist, that's a very like difficult circle to square when you start talking about things that you can't prove, but things that you know are true. And that idea that sort of, you know, love is a little bit in great or small part like the thing that human beings can do in this universe and in this life. It was just the right song at that moment of belief for me, and it really just stuck with me. So just an incredibly meaningful song. I'm sure there's a craft in it. You know, I talked about how I think it's like this sort of strange anthemic energy, like that I don't find in like a lot of his work, and so it stands out to me as well. But also it's just like a super personal choice, that like a really intense bond that I developed with that song in particular.
Do you think it's true?
Like, scientifically?
Yes. Is it empirically true, Stephen?
I think what's interesting is the idea that, or at least the question, whether or not love is like an external existing force in the universe versus, you know, just a feeling that we have. Like, do we connect with love or do we create it?
It's a little abstract for me, Steve.
Oh, give me a real example. What do you mean? Oh, explain it to me. No,
I was hoping for a little more. You know, I was just hoping for a little
get
more.
the you always do this. You always do this when I have a take.
What?
Oh, well, I thought there was more to it. What do you want me to say? It's like, it's my life. It's a feeling I had. I can't package it in a way that makes it understandable. You know, I'm just doing the best I can.
Okay, so Michael Now is very epic in a lot of his songwriting, but I feel like this is just a good feel vibe. And it does give me like this idea of just gliding across marble floors as you walk. Smooth aisles. And it comes off of what? Mowing. And it still has those like backing female singers. And I just love that chorus where they just kind of chime in. For kind of like a singular musician who's probably just writing these songs all alone, the depth and like the sonic sound of having the whole band there and having these backup vocals just makes it feel, you know, deeper and I'm not really like a music critic here, you know. Just my take is, it feels very natural and peaceful and just a good vibe song instead of the epics that normally come from him that resonate with me on a deeper level. This is just good vibe song.
Right. There's always room for good vibes. All right, I think then I have to go for like kind of the first Michael Now track that hit me, which was I Root. And, you know, I mean, let me reluctantly thank the Spotify algorithm because it's not something that I was looking for, but it's just kind of something I found probably around like 19, maybe, no, earlier, probably like 2016. Anyway, I found it a number of years ago, and it was just a track that like, it was funny because it kind of like crept into my life. Like I didn't make a big deal about it. I just, oh, Michael now, okay, some guy. I didn't investigate it. I didn't find out who he was. I didn't check for tour dates, you know, or merch or whatever. I just kind of, you know, gently accepted that this song existed, and then, you know, let it kind of grow in my estimation. But it's like, it's crazy because you feel like you're listening to a song for that long. You're just gonna lose some of that juice, some of that pepper, right? But I'm still like right there with it. You know, it's that sort of mellow hammer. You know, it's so good.
Okay. Jewel.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Jewel off Mowing. You know, so many times what I feel like I'm missing in describing Michael now is he'll have like these little hooks of a lyric that really pull you in and kind of wander into his emotional space. And there's so much music out there that it feels like if there's just one lyric and one hook, you may not even care whatever else they're saying. You might not investigate it. You might be busy like living your life.
Yeah.
But the whole don't hold on to your jewel so carelessly is like, whoa. That's like that hits me a little deeper, you know, at this stage in my life. And, you know, he kind of takes you on a journey with that song, with this sort of slow build and, you know, these beautiful melodies in the background. Love that song.
So, all right, there's a moment where I mean this only in the most just observational sense. But do you know the song "Rides Through the Morning"? Mm-hmm. I feel like Michael was on like a bit of like a "what if I sounded like Elvis" kick. Like it has this sort of grand, sort of Elvis Presley kind of presence to it. You know, like and it's a voice that he doesn't take like very often, or like certainly not in like, you know, some records it's completely not there. But that track, like "Rides Through the Morning," there's a couple of the tracks from that same album where it has like a similar feeling about it. But like I'm always just struck by that like Elvis Presley sort of opulence in his voice, you know, like he really kind of went out there on it. And yeah, I mean that's a track I always come back to for that like kind of big feeling, you know.
Well, that's an interesting thing too. Like, you know, how I've described his voice, you know, like this kind of sweet, melodic, masculine, strong voice, which it's hard. It's funny for me to even describe things that way, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of them out there these days. But when I hear that, like it feels like very often he's singing in an understated way, like he's got reserve. And that was something that I noticed in person is like he could give you some volume. He's a great singer. Like he's not just like a good songwriter that can play guitar and and it's got like a band. Like he can really sing. And like if he wants to pour it on, it always strikes me when an artist knows they have a little more in reserve and they can tap into it when they need it. And he could definitely do that. Maybe that's a little bit what's coming off on that track too.
Yeah, it's like the full now.
It's the full now.
Yeah, Michael, you can use that album title if you want. Sounds like a live record to me.
The full now. Now that's what I call good music.
Ah.
I see what you did there.
No, we're ending on that. That's it. That's the one.